Dream big.
And I started a dance club after school.
Movement is a way of expression. That's what I definitely carried on from then to now.
I was really first engaged at Everett. I've danced all over the world, about 50 countries, 5 continents, and I've been lucky enough to perform on each of those continents.
Dance for me was passion. It was just something that really spoke to my soul.
The story is there, and it doesn't matter what you look like. You can give that story, and you can all come together to do it.
And I know that I'm only just a small piece of that legacy, and to think about like all the different people that take a piece of Everett with them.
All different cultures have some type of movement infused within it.
Every single student is part of that because they were all a part of making that important.
You were always proud to be an Everett dancer.
You don't think about the legacy. You don't think, oh, we may go 20, 30 years, 40 years. You don't think about it. You just go in every day, do the best job you can, teach a good class. So I think I would have taught dance in some capacity, even if I wasn't a public school teacher, whether it was after school, at a studio, whatever, because I love to do that. But I never thought that it could, be my job. So I went to Everett High School as a sub, a permanent sub. I went there every day, and I started a dance club after school. And the kids seemed to really like it. And I probably would have continued doing that had not Kit Carter, who was the Performing Arts Department chairperson, decided that dance would be such an integral part of the Performing Arts Company. So I wanted them to learn to love to move, to be able to express themselves, and be a part of the whole Performing Arts Department too. That was really important to me, that we integrate the arts. So that was my initial, quest, I think, is to expose these kids to dance, to what it's like to take a disciplined dance class. I don't think they knew what that was. And then go from there. So here I was teaching my passion, something I love to do. I was so fortunate. And I taught 2 classes, and then the next semester it was 4 classes, and after that it was a full schedule. So I've been thanking my lucky stars for almost 40 years that I was able to teach something I was so passionate about. And it made me really reflect and see all the people that, all the students that have been involved, and that every single one of them contributed to making that happen, and that we lasted that long. So the 25th concert that we did was a reflection of the past, and that was a great moment.
She has done such a beautiful job for 25 years, and some of you have been in this audience. I know there are colleagues of Karen's out here who have been here each of those 25 years. And in appreciation for the teacher, choreographer, producer, and colleague par excellence, the Everett Dancers Concert is saluted hereby, and I give this to you, Karen, as well, on behalf of the board and your administration, Dale Glenn, and thank you, and urge you for 25 more happy years.
I guess I like being creative, and because of that, I was drawn to being a part of the Vikets and dance. I was so excited to find out they had a dance program. It was amazing, and I so appreciate what it's done for my life. That creativity comes out in different areas. I like to craft, but it's all about being creative. So I really appreciate that spark that she gave us to get started. Her expression, her awareness, her knowledge of the ability to express yourself through dance was amazing. And so because of her, I was able to continue my ability and gift in dancing until recently. I still dance. I think it is absolutely amazing. That tells you how important this part of learning is, being able to express yourself and in a way, instead of through writing, it's through dance, and it's amazing. Everyone has different abilities, and this is where my creativity comes out.
When I was 10 years old, I went to a concert at Everett High School when I went to Atwood Elementary School. And that was the first time I ever saw a dance concert. And I, to this day, can still tell you the first dance that they did. I can remember the way it looked. I remember the shadows and the lighting, and I think it just woke up something inside me. And I immediately went home and asked for dance lessons because I wanted to be an Everett dancer. I swear to God, I wanted to be an Everett dancer. My parents enrolled me, and so I did that. And then when I got into high school, I started right back up into dance with Karen Sprecher.
Well, Karen is like the most amazing person in the world. So she just has this vision and an enthusiasm, and she is such a wonderfully liked person that I think that she could do things that perhaps others just couldn't make the same inroads as she could. But the vision, she started with that vision, and that is huge. But she grew this program to one that is still going, and that is so special. I think that says worlds about Karen.
Dance is vital to the overall core academic classes and the overall academic experience of students within the K-12 system all over the country, all over the world. It's a place where you can, in the dance studio, kinesthetically and physically in a lot of different ways embody so many of your own thoughts, but also your own feelings, and as well as different course subject matter. Students demand a quality dance education. Like when I show up, it's not optional to not do a good job. So I think for me as an individual, what personally motivates me to wake up and come to work every day is knowing that I'm going to do something that I love with people that I love and that I care about, who I think are really brilliant and creative and interesting.
You end up creating something that you hope will speak to the students who are dancing it and also to the audience. And if you do that, then you get this immense satisfaction that you created something special. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes I would walk around on stage for hours and just pace and expect something to just jump in my brain. But that's what I want to teach the kids. It's work, it's a discipline, it's a technique that you learn to do. And I think over the years, the students developed into such wonderful choreographers.
I actually had met a few graduates earlier in my career, and so I had even known about Everett's program before ever applying. So we know that the arts do things like provide creative outlet, but they also host really physiological opportunity for growth, meaning that the arts can become a tool for social and emotional learning. And when we can relate to ourselves, relate to others, and relate to big ideas, that work ripples out that we inhabit outside of the school buildings. That changes how we interact with one another, community spaces, on the streets, as we travel, as we pass people, and so on. And so I think that Everett and really all of the arts programs in Lansing have been such a key community building gem. The level of passion, the strong guidance from staff has really sustained over a long course of time.
It has to be a labor of love. It's basically what's inside you, and you've got to find a way to express that. And we all have something different inside, so that's why dance is so varied. It's never going to be the same. It's never going to be repetitive because we all feel something differently.
I think that dance provides a fantastic and an extremely healthy outlet for not just our students, but for anybody. No matter what kind of obstacles or things you're trying to overcome in your life, dance can be there to help you express that. It is a very healthy way to be dealing with whatever you are encountering in your life, and it is a great way for you to express what it is that you are going through.
So as a teacher and administrator, one of the things that we always appreciated, just like all the other extracurricular programs that kids get involved in, is when they're involved in something like that, that allows them to express themselves and to be a part of something that's bigger than them, they tend to do better in school. They tend to be present every day because they don't want to miss dance class, or they don't want to miss that special event that they're working towards. And so kids' attendance is increased and is better for those who are on the fringes. It's just a super motivating thing for kids. It is something that everyone can participate in and everyone can shine.
I think for all of our students with disabilities, who have some really severe disabilities and cognitive impairments, they're able to express themselves through the arts, and that keeps them going to school every day. We have some students who are at school because it's their neighborhood school, right? So they're there. It happens to be the School of the Arts, and some of them have just really found that passion, like, oh, I really do like the arts. I didn't realize that there were all these different things that I could do. I just thought art was drawing and painting. I just thought the art school was you were gonna just color all day long and, do art in your classes, and I don't want to draw, I don't want to paint. And bringing that realization that art is more than just painting or drawing, that it is a true expression of who you are through a variety of modalities, has really been eye-opening for some of our students, and I've just seen the growth.
Definitely one of the aspects of my job that I really love is I love seeing the young people in particular coming through our fine arts and our dance program at Everett. And it is great to be able to sit down and to offer them any insight I might have from my experiences, and to talk about the different options, and that if you do choose a career and path, it doesn't have to just mean performance. There are so many different things that students can do. There's so many different careers that you can go into that still keep the arts in your life, and it can be in various aspects. So some of them are still involved in dance, some of them have chosen other careers, many of them have families, but it is just an absolute blessing to see and to continue to see where my students are.
For me, going to Everett and being involved in dance during school opened up my eyes to so many more styles that I was able to try and find out, and different people from walks of life that I could learn from. It was such an escape from, the day-to-day life. I mean, for me, I could be something else, and maybe not even so much something else, but I could find, like, through dance, I found another part of myself that was waiting to come out, like through these characters that I've played, or through these movements that I've done.
Karen Sprecher, she took us to room 34 at Michigan State University, IM Circle, where she went to school. She took us as seniors there for Elvin Ailey. They came and they did a guest master class. And it was such an honor to go and walk into the footsteps where our mentor learned and was educated and created in that same space. And we were there, getting a taste. She was all about providing experiences for us and showing us that the world of dance is much larger out there. And she utilized her connections, her local connections, which make Lansing so rich, that we have so many people that are open and willing to share the world of dance with our community. It's a very special thing. And by going to that master class, that to me kind of brought everything full circle and made me realize that there's a lot more that I want to do with dance. Karen just built a beautiful program, from the ground up.
It inspired me to continue on to higher education, which I probably wouldn't have done if I hadn't been pushed or told that I could do that. So Heather Southard at the time told us, like, you can study college, you can study dance in college. And to me, I was like, what? But she actually drove us to auditions during our senior year. And that was really incredible for a teacher to step in and do that. And I finished my bachelor's in society ethics and human behavior with a minor in dance. Went for a master's in cultural studies where I looked more deeply at embodied knowledge, and I would not have done any of that if it was not for Everett Dance.
There is no dance program in any other public school around here in the Lansing area. So that speaks volumes to me about, where the priorities are in terms of integrated education and how arts and the movement of your body can help you learn your academics. It's really heartening to know that there's a leadership of a big district that understands the way the brain works, how important social and emotional intelligence and learning is to academic learning. Of course, we still care about standardized tests. I mean, we don't have a better way to gather data and analyze it to help us make informed decisions. But we also understand that there's a lot that goes into a person who's about to take a standardized test, and the arts and dance can be a big piece of that. Clara, I've known since she was a kid, because she was a student of mine when she was in high school at Happen Dance where I work. She's just phenomenal. She's fun, she's easy to work with, she knows what she's doing, she cares about the kids. So I really highly respect her. And I feel like we hit the jackpot. So smart, so organized, so well trained. She graduated from the #1 dance department in the country. Sense of systems, she has a great sense of equity and a world-class command of dance training. It's refreshing, it's heartening, it's exciting. I love that kids are totally encouraged to fully embrace their passions and their dreams. Our slogan is dream big. It doesn't just mean dream big, but only if you want to be a lawyer. Dream big, but only if you want to go into science. It's dream big. We have a pathway for whatever your passion might be. We have that here, including the arts. I'm grateful to be part of a board of directors that has a will to support dance the way that it does. These are my professional athletes that I follow. Confident is almost not the right word. It's like this, I'm just gonna lay everything bare and share that with you, the audience. I'm gonna give this everything I have. So inspiring, you don't see that very often. Not even with advanced trained studio dancers or a lot of professional companies don't go there. But those kids, man, they will go there, and it's the best thing. It's the best thing you could see.
It was in the middle of the pandemic, so we wanted to do something that kind of showed how we felt about that, but also the hope that we had for it to be just over and we could go back to normal. Persevering through kind of the grief and maybe sadness that we felt during that time.
A lot of loneliness and just being by yourself. I know sometimes that can be hard for people, especially with it being so sudden. It was kind of a hard adjustment for a lot of people, especially myself, I can say, with just having to do that, especially for more than a year, and then being able to go back out into the world and be able to see people and talk to people and be able to have like that connection, it made me feel happy and more like uplifted. It lifted my spirits because in quarantine it was hard for me. I didn't feel like myself. I had to come up with creative ways. I had to think harder and think more outside the box for myself.
I didn't really experience much grief during like the whole pandemic, but definitely seeing what my peers and fellow classmates were going through, it seemed like an important topic to talk about, how people are pushing through the tough times of the pandemic.
I chose like women empowerment because it's something that was important to me, and I knew that it was really relevant at the time, and it still is relevant. It's always going to be, and it's something that I wanted to express through dance and just show how much it meant to me. I chose a topic that could always really be talked about and is never really not going to be relevant, so I just wanted to express that.
Just trying to push through people always telling you no in the dance world. Something that specifically inspired me was one of my old dance teachers said, if you get a no, don't go home and eat some Oreos. Just keep pushing forward and keep going. And that specifically changed kind of my whole perspective of how to deal with the constant rejection when you think you've gotten the part, but they cut down the sizing of the people of dancers. That can be extremely hard, and I just kind of found a way to put how I was feeling about it into movement.
This past summer, my nephew, he had passed away at 5 months. I had lost quite a few people this summer, just classmates at my school, and then my nephew, and then my other family members. So I kind of just had a hard time with dealing with grieving and everything like that. So I kind of wanted to make a dance dedicated to them, but not only to them, but to the people who have dealt with grieving. And I know it's hard sometimes, especially when you feel like you don't have anybody by your side, or when nobody can feel how you're feeling. So I kind of just wanted to base it off of that and say that you're not alone. It's been really hard for everybody.
So I danced growing up. I originally went to college for dance, and then for some medical issues, I stopped dancing. So dance was always talked about. I have a brother that dances, and so my oldest, Sydney, she started dance when she was in kindergarten at that age, and she loved it and just kept dancing. And then so when we found out about Pleasant View, it was a perfect fit for her and her creativity and all of that. And so then the next sister, when she saw her big sister dancing, she immediately wanted to dance. So at 3, she started dancing, and so on.
It was a choice that I made. I made the choice to go to Everett because of their dance program. Being at Pleasant View, I had danced within my school day every day, and so then I realized I wanted that again. And working there has helped me build connections not only with LCC's dance program but also with Happen Dance, where I ended up going as a high school student to train there. Being there, being able to be seen not only on Everett stage, district-wide performances, got the opportunity to then audition for a summer intensive for the University of Michigan. Just being the places that Clara and the past directors have been able to take us as students has let us be seen. It's given us the chance to audition for scholarships that then take us further than just the Lansing area. That, and then just meeting people and being able to build those connections and having those mentors has helped me not only be where I am right now at Ohio State, but I know is going to benefit me even when I graduate from here and move on to hopefully New York.
I think that having dance in the high school has really given them some drive at school. It definitely makes school more enriching. I see it not just in my kids, but in other students as well. I've seen it in other kids, really, that drive to, I want to dance, so I want to be at school. To see the girls express the way that they feel about things that are happening in our society through dance shows that they are learning and moving forward and care about what's happening around them.
And I remember I had made a solo. I believe I called it Medicine. I want to make clear it was not a personal narrative. After I had finished, I hadn't talked about the piece at all. I just kind of, they said, oh, this is Sydney Littall, this is a solo she choreographed, and I went and performed it in front of the people that were there. And I remember right after, a man had come up to me and he said, hi, like I just wanted to let you know that your solo really impacted me. And he started to tell me about a story about one of his family members who had struggled with drug addiction. And I realized then how powerful dance is. I was so grateful for that opportunity to share my work in that space and be able to impact someone, even if it was just one person. And for him, someone who I'd never met, for him to come up to me and just kind of share a little bit of his story and share something from his heart, it was a really cool opportunity. I think that stuck with me, and that's kind of how I fuel choreography now and how I fuel my ideas. Just surrounding this idea of I want to make an impact, and I want to start those conversations that sometimes aren't had because they're just a little too difficult to talk about. Sophia and Sarah, they're both in the program right now. Really cool. It's really cool to see them on stage because I know what that's like, and I know what they're going through, and I know that Claire is giving them the best experience. I like to see them on stage because it takes me back to like when I used to do that. And when I used to work together with the other dancers and choreograph something and then finally be able to put it on stage or perform at pep rally and everyone gets to see the hard work you've put in, I know what that's like, and I know that they're enjoying it.
I think the dancers definitely are a close-knit group. I think that they form a bond, and like a team, like a group, you know, they are kind of like a family. I hear about them eating together and they meet up and do things together. They connect and they stay together. Sydney was with a group for 4 years. Sophia's been with a core group of girls for 4 years. So they work together and they just share thoughts. They have to they get to know each other's movements because they dance together. And when you're doing that, I think there's a certain amount of vulnerability when you're learning and doing those things that opens people up to getting to know each other. And I think that's probably why some of those dancers get so close when they're with each other for so many years.
If you have a body, you can dance and you're capable of dance. And so I knew when I was coming into Everett that there might be some stereotypes or ideas about, oh, only certain kinds of people can do dance. Only certain kinds of bodies can be in dance class. Only certain kinds of personalities or anything like that. And that's just really not true. And dance education is really supposed to be for all people from all walks of life. I identify as a Chicana Latina, and so I would always be in rooms full of mostly other white students because I could pass for being white a lot of the time, and so people can just assume that. But culturally, I didn't identify that way. What is really important to me about working at Everett is, as a woman of color, feeling like I'm adequately representing and advocating for all of the men and women and students of color that I work with, and ensuring to them that they're going to have a promising future and helping them navigate the pathways through life that take you on to adulthood. In keeping that in mind for my male students or students that identify as male students or non-binary students, I always want people to know that, like, within the context of choreography, everything is fair game for anyone. And so you can perform this, you can be a female dancer, identify as a female dancer, and perform this choreography in a masculine way. You can be a male identifying person in a dance class and perform this in a feminine way. If that's the approach that you want to have, that's not off limits. You don't always have to be within like your confined gender role or how others perceive you to be within that role. I have several high school boys in class now. I have like 5 or 6, and I have a middle school class that has between like 15 and 20 male students, and it's really fun to see how much they just jump into and attack the choreography that is put in front of them, and they never really worry or question of like, you know, is this too girly? Is this too feminine for me to do? And I really try to keep it as gender neutral as possible, but they just jump into it and they don't pay any mind. They get as expressive as they want to be. And really, I hope that at the end of the day, like, dance is a place where you can try on different gender roles and gender identities, but finding your own sense of inner self and your own sense of strength from whatever the choreography is that you're performing, that's the whole point.
In 8th grade, my friends and I decided that we needed another elective, and we decided to take dance. But it was kind of a joke, you know. We were like, oh, you know, we'll just take this; it'll be a breeze. And after that first week of classes, all of my friends by the end of the first week ended up dropping out. But I realized, oh, I actually really, really liked this.
Dance, you know, it was always a part of me. It was just the Lansing School District that provided a lot of opportunity to really, I guess, keep that flame going that's already been there. I always knew that dance wasn't just a class that I took. It wasn't just this thing that I did. It was something that I did sometimes up to 5 hours a day. If someone was going to come after me for chasing that kind of passion, I knew that they probably don't have something like that in their lives. So for a lot of us, the dance program was like a safe haven. And so being an LGBT guy, you know, it actually felt like the perfect place for me to be.
I've never really viewed gender as something that stands in my way. I just do what I like. So, but I would say that I know some people don't have as much conviction as I do. It's tough, but also that's times of old. I think now people are just so exposed to, you know, gender identity and you know, blurring the lines of masculinity and femininity. And a lot of those people that are pushing those boundaries are kids these days. They're so much smarter than we ever were, you know, and just more emotionally aware.
You know, they always had our backs. Like they were very encouraging towards the guys that came into the studio, and Everett being Everett, a lot of the times, like if there was anyone who was going to say something, it wasn't necessarily like during class, but maybe we're working on something outside of class or we're working on student choreography. A lot of the times, like we would have, you know, whomever wandering the school jump into the studio and say something, but most of the time when they like came in to say something, we were doing something pretty entertaining. So they stopped like making fun and actually just stood and watched there. And I know that the teachers actually facilitated, like it almost seemed intentional that when someone as an outsider came in and like was making fun or having any sort of snide comment, that we bring them into that conversation, because the sheer fact of the matter is that most people don't have that sort of access or exposure to concert dance or, know anything about it as an art form. So, it always became a moment of opportunity in our studio. And so
if I am going to be honest, my family to me when I was a teenager was the dance program. It was the people that I was in class with. I feel like we were really lucky to have some of the experiences we did, and it reminds me why I do what I do.
Mrs. Sprecher, before I let time totally slip away, I just wanted to take time out and let you know a couple of things. Well, it's finally hit me. I am graduated, and the thought of not being in your dance class each and every day overwhelms my anticipation of the future with a terrible sorrow. How can I let you know how much your class really meant to me? Without it, I don't think I would have graduated. Really, dance class was the only thing that made me get up in the morning. You are a really special person with a gift. Somehow, you are able to take anyone and make them feel comfortable to learn, experiment, and grow. I am positive that everyone looks towards your class and you with eager anticipation. Beyond your class, you are a truly special and unique person. In all the world, there are very few people who are true and genuinely wonderful. You are one of those people. I am really going to miss our after-school chats. Your advice was always sound without being judgmental. Caution is a good thing in this world, and I've learned that you'll meet many people, but very few are friends. You've been a great teacher, excellent role model, sound counselor, and listener. This list could go on, but most of all, to me, you've been a true friend. It wouldn't be masculine or cool to let you know that I've started to cry. Oh well. I am going to miss you with all my heart, but don't worry, you have not quite gotten rid of me yet. I will keep in touch. Love, always.
Caius Kelly was a graduate of Everett High School in 1989. After Everett, he chose to pursue a career in medicine, graduating in 2001 from Butler University. Working at Mount Sinai West in New York City as a nurse manager, he gave his all to his patients, often working 7 days a week. He never complained about what he considered to be his life calling. He was on the forefront of the COVID epidemic, being one of the first to lose his life. The Lansing School District and Everett High School honor Caius Kelly and his legacy of love.
Our first year at Dwight Rich School of the Arts in 2018-19, Coach Martinez brought her students over to us and did performances, and high school students worked with our middle school and elementary students at Dwight Rich, and it was just such a rich experience that we have tried to continue to cultivate that as we go along. Coach Cha-Cha and Claire Martinez are the ones that deserve all the credit for really bringing this dance program together to be able to provide a beginning space for kiddos to develop their dance skills, and if that's a passion that they find, then they have this beautiful avenue at Everett in their arts program to continue on with their dance education. This really strong program in our public school to give access to dance to students who might not otherwise have access to it.
And as far as my kids go, my kids bring the life to me, bring me so much joy. Just being a part of the elementary, middle school population, I have a lot of kids that look up to me and also love dancing and love being there. And they're like, oh, Cha-Cha, oh my goodness, I want to be a dance teacher when I grow up. You make me want to be a dance teacher when I grow up. And just to hear that I know now, or I always know just from hearing that, repeating it in my ears, that I am making a difference in this community. The vision to make a Lansing School District dance pathway be a competitive, community-driven program from kindergarten to 12th grade, to have pre-professional dance that will lead them to higher education and healthy lifestyles is just a great benefit that we can offer. And if we connect with high school and middle school and community members, I think it will be a great opportunity to have that pathway grow. And the things that could be done with this pathway will bring so many opportunities for our diverse population that we have, where they wouldn't otherwise get it. So giving them that opportunity, opening up their minds to different experiences can only strengthen our community. It can only strengthen dance and strengthen the arts. And art in itself, or performing arts and dance specifically, it can tie to so many different things. So in the future, I see, again, a lot of hopeful things for our program. I think the world will be a lot better place. Bob your head every now and then.
You know, I just drove by actually Everett not too long ago, and I seen a bunch of renovations and wondered what was going on. And it was so humbling and beautiful to hear that it's going back into the dance program and if not more, you know, all the arts programs. And I am so excited and hope that the students are that excited too, because it is a special thing. And I hope they recognize and respect the area that has been provided to them and will be provided to them. And I'm so excited and thankful to the whole community who's giving back for such a meaningful growth.
The Pathway Promise is pretty exciting for the Lansing School District and the Everett Dancers. The facilities, I think having new facilities, well, it shows the commitment from the city, from the community, from the schools, that this is important. And the kids pick up on that when they have nice facilities and they see that people are investing in them. I think that they'll work even harder.
I believe that I'm going to say a more evolved community is one that has dance in it. Communities will often have a music program, will often have a theater program, but I believe it is the more evolved community that includes dance within their arts repertoire. So I think that this is perfect for Lansing. I think it will be nothing but a draw to get like-minded people in the Lansing schools, which I think will help ultimately.
Even though I haven't been here for that long, I was in 7th grade in 2016, but I've seen how the dance program has expanded, not just student-wise, but just around the city of Lansing, and how many contributors have put into the dance company. And it makes me really happy to see that people care about the arts, because even with the visual and performing arts, I feel like dance is underlooked sometimes, but seen that people care and put their time towards dance and show that they want us to be the best that we can be makes me really happy.
Once they built it, I was like, I'm never leaving. It's gonna be really hard to ever leave. We have a state-of-the-art facility. It's gorgeous. The dancers love it too, and I think that we all feel like what we do is taken seriously. My overall goal was to build something that I could pass on to somebody else eventually someday, that they would love and care for at the same level and just as much as I do, and also elevate the program continuously to the next level. It's probably one of the nicest dance studios I've ever been in.
find our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers, stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now, don't look back now. Rise up, stand with each other. We are sisters and brothers, finding our place and running the race. We'll take our chance and seize the moment. Hold on tight and don't let go of all your hopes and dreams that light the way. We control our fate. Destiny awaits. We are all the actors in the stories we create. Hope will be our guide. We'll no longer hide. When we roll like thunder, feel the wonder from inside. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers, stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now, don't look back now. Rise up, stand with each other. We are sisters and brothers, finding our place and running the race. We'll take our chance and seize the moment. Hold on tight and don't let go of all your hopes and dreams that light the way.
In 25 years was astonishing to me. 50 years is just unimaginable. But on a practical level, I'm so proud of that. I'm really proud of that because I started something. But all those people that kept it going are just as important as I was for starting it.
I'm just so glad that it's still running, and I think it can grow from here. It's like a legacy of care. The possibility for the program to grow and continuing the legacy of Everett Dance is very possible.
So celebration is actually what comes to mind when I hear about the 50 years of dance, 50 years of touching the lives of those in Lansing. I think we're just setting ourselves up for another 50 years of excellence.
You tend to see the high school experience like in the years in which you're there. The dance department has shaped my way and did provide me something that I take with me everywhere I go.
So I think it's been really special to see all the different points of that. It's been very exciting because, again, it's been a mainstay for all of those years in our district and at Everett High School. And it's something that we can point to as something we've contributed to our community.
It's a part of history, making a legacy for our Lansing School District, something that we can look back onto and be able to see where we started, where we're at, and where we're going to be going. I think it's going to be amazing journey for us from here on out within the Lansing School District for the dance pathways.
I have a sister who's a couple years younger than me, and I hope that she'll be able to come to Everett and actually get to be a part of the dance program like I was. And I really just hope that it stays a thing for a very long time, because I feel like it's a really big part of Everett's history overall. It makes me feel really good just knowing that there's people throughout the community that actually want to support what the students love outside of academics, like whether it's music, dance, theater. It's really nice to know that there's other people supporting what we want to do.
It's about all of these kids in our community now and for years to come. And we want these kids to know that you are valuable, what you're learning is valuable, and what you put forward is valuable. Because it's not just about what we say, it's about what we do and how we show it to these kids.
Seeing that it's literally lasted 5 decades, it makes it so much stronger, because there's thousands of us. Going down memory lane thinking about this now I don't really have any words for it.
Make our world better and teach us acceptance. It is everything. Showing emphasis on the importance of what the arts do to the soul. And so congratulations on 50 years. I'm very proud to have been a part of it, even for just a moment.
Here we are, living in the moment. And here we are, dreaming in the open. Now look around, isn't this a new day? Make a move, doing things a new way. A new way. 'Cause this is our world, and this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. Look ahead, we can see forever. You and me doing it together. Light it up, we can be a million stars. Look at us, don't you see we've come so far? Yeah, we've come so far. 'Cause this is our world, and this is our time, and these are our plans. We're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. Standing at the crossroads, feeling how the wind blows. We can soar above the clouds. Every moment is a heartbeat, and every breath feeling so sweet. And who can say what happens now? 'Cause this is our world, this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. This is our world, and this is our time. And these are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. We won't stop dreaming.
Dream big.